Story 1. It is a pretty significant historical event and people are just taking it seriously in my opinion. He is firing everyone that investigated him, creating loyalty tests for government, even talking about invading our allies. Now Elon is basically running rampant through our government without even being elected. I know everyone is completely desensitized at this point, but what is happening is completely crazy. It would be weird if people did not obsessively post about it. US President talks about invading Canada. Why won't everyone shut up about it? Because it is crazy, dude. That's simple. Story 2. It's Trump's strategy. Flood the zone. Do so many things in a single day that no one can focus on just one thing before the next 10 things happen to outrage people. It dominates Reddit and clogs up the rhetoric until nobody can stand hearing it anymore, so they stop following. That's when Trump succeeds. Story 3. Most social media sites allow you to mute certain words, so you do not see any posts containing them. I think Reddit is showing itself to be behind the times by not having any sort of filter like that. Story 4. I feel like I have no grip on reality from just reading Reddit. For instance, during the election, my impression was that there was no way Donald Trump would be president. Reddit is being so loud and biased in once objective subreddits that it seemed impossible. Now again, it seems the current president of the United States' decisions will be stopped immediately because of how illegal and immoral they are, but that is just not reality. I'm getting just as manipulated as any other social media user. Story 5. How do you feel about the sky being bright at night? Don't you find it annoying? Everyone. The forest is on fire, and the flames are quickly approaching. And another thing, the sound of people screaming. I just want to get some sleep. Story 6. I'm thinking about quitting Reddit for a bit. The depressing news I want to see because I need to know, but the sprinklings of, if you don't rise up violently right now, you're as complicit as Nazi Germany, when we just got done being mad about January 6th, just drive me into too much of a cognitive tailspin. Story 7. Well, I work for the federal government and might be out of a job this year. For my sanity, I deleted TikTok. I try to limit Reddit also, but I am active in some travel, finance, and hobby communities. Every comment that comes out of Trump's mouth also affects my investments, so he is inescapable. Story 8. I feel that a lot of it is people who want the upvote and comments. They know an anti-Trump post or comment will yield them an upvote. Maybe I'm crazy thinking like that. Story 9. For the last time, it is 100% by design, not by accident, and until you grasp that simple fact, it will continue to happen over and over again until you do. Story 10. I just don't understand why there needs to be a "what do you think about" thread for literally everything he does. Like, what purpose does it serve? Headline in the news. Bill to dismantle Department of Education. AskReddit. What do you think about the bill to dismantle the Department of Education? Like, just go comment on the news posts. Story 11. Reddit did this to itself by fostering echo chambers and refusing to honestly confront their political opposition, resorting to censorship with corrupt, biased, paid moderator teams. You reap what you sow. Too bad many good communities were corrupted this way. The doubling down will just lead to more lost elections, even when told why and how to stop it. At some point, repeatedly labeling people as Nazis, fascists, racists, sexists, transphobes, oligarchs, or Russian bots, and using other overused, now meaningless labels only works against you because your viewpoints are so lazy, hysterical, and completely out of touch with reality. These labels and beliefs you hold are mostly just for you to feel morally righteous and superior among the group. This is exactly how you lost the culture war. Story 12. I think that AskReddit and reaction GIFs are the only default subreddits left on my account. There's barely any politics on Reddit for me unless I switch to popular. Story 13. I hate it, but I think it's necessary. Important, even. I hate seeing all the stuff happening because it's just a never-ending sense of we're so messed up. But it's important for that stuff to be shared everywhere because it's not okay. Story 14. I worry that he is using rodeo clown tactics, and we are all caught up in worrying about ridiculous things. I am very concerned about what he is distracting us from. Story 15. All I care about is living day to day. I read them, remember RageBait and foreign operative accounts exist, read the news in other places than Reddit, and go about my day. I decided to log off for a week, And I realized that no one in real life obsesses over Donald Trump or anything, and everyone outside just lives nicely. It was a pleasant experience. Story 16. So many radical things are happening, including an unelected individual having effectively presidential powers running amok without regard for legality or constitutionality, and the initiation of a trade war that could be an end to long-standing trade treaties. Story 17. I would suggest using Reddit Enhancement Suite to filter out pretty much every default subreddit and just about every subreddit that the group of power moderators control. Start blocking subreddits that post obviously boosted and phony political stuff. Block all the subreddits that hyperboost political things that don't seem organic to the subreddit itself. Block the local city subreddits where, in reality, they are 60 to 65% conservative, but a group of political moderators purposely take over the city subreddit and try to pretend that isn't the case. You start to notice how few people are flooding the entirety of Reddit with a bunch of phony political junk nonsense. It isn't real, it isn't organic, but this website really tries to make you think it is. Tagging users who spam political stuff really gives you a good idea of how much reach just a few people have. Story 18. I don't mind the news, and some of it I find relevant and interesting to me as a non-American. However, the two things I dislike are pages that I never subscribe to being recommended to me with loads of Trump news and subreddits like pics that are heavily politicized and very misleading. For the record, I also never subscribe to pics, but you would think it would be more general than just Trump news. The issue with the misinformation age is that this barrage of anti-Trump sentiment on Reddit makes me actually doubt what I'm hearing, in the same way I would if it was all pro-Trump. The only thing I can really rely on being true are the actual statements made by figures or videos of incidents like the planes crashing. This is a greater problem than just Trump, and this information barrage might be part of his strategy, but it's so sad that news these days has become so unreliable. Story 19. I really despise American politics, man. Everything I know about them is against my will. I don't give a damn about your clowns and your circus either. Should we make a list of the subreddits to mute to keep United States political posts off our feed? Story 20. I live across the world. I'm tired of seeing so many political things on Reddit. It's not like I don't understand. This is a historic event, but that doesn't mean I have to like it. Story 21. I've been clicking to see fewer posts on everything, and it's still too much. I thought about quitting Reddit, but I'm too addicted and keep finding myself caught in this doom loop. Story 22. Actually very important. We are basically seeing a tremendous shift of power and living through a very major historical event. We can't be like, not my country, not my problem, because this will be the entire world's problem. Story 23. It is annoying in that it makes several subreddits completely unusable as people have basically used politics as a karma farm rather than actually having anything interesting or insightful to add. Pics and murdered by words are entirely this now. Hate Trump all you want, but at least understand that even if someone else dislikes Trump, they are going to get annoyed at the 1000th LOL Trump shits himself meme. And if you call this out there, you are assumed to be a Trump supporter and a fascist. Story 24. I think his presence in United States politics represents unprecedented corruption and criminality, and if a person is tired of it, they should take action to stop it. Story 25. As a non-American, I'm really sick of it. It's actually gotten to the point where people are posting in my country's subreddit asking how the Chinese tariffs are going to affect us and freaking out about it because it's all people see and, for some reason, think it affects us. Spoiler, it doesn't. I left Facebook to get away from that negativity, and it's followed me here within a few years. Don't get me wrong, what's happening in the United States is making idiocracy look like prophecy, and it will be interesting from an outside view to see how this all plays out. But I wish it wasn't bleeding into subreddits that should be free of politics, making every second post the same topic for days on end. Also, as a side note, I'm sick of seeing post after post about Elon Musk too. I get it, we don't like him. Story 26. I am mainly getting tired of all the cheap karma farming and hysterical doomsday preachers. If Trump does something stupid, post it to the news subreddit and let it hit the front page. But don't make a million lazy posts with the same lowbrow, preaching to the choir takes, and post them to any subreddit you can find. Story 27. Reddit is just having a collective meltdown with the usual unhealthy dose of hyperboles. And the echo chamber effect is reaching peak efficiency where not a single opposing view is uttered anymore. All in all, I don't necessarily mind it, the lack of introspection around it is far worse. Story 28. It is the same everywhere, though, right? That was always the plan, and it is basically a historical event. You can block news and politics-related topics. Story 29. It's frustrating because no one has clearly learned anything. He's back, he's doing the same things, but he's even more powerful. And the response is the exact same. Post about how awful it is and then maybe have a meaningless march in the street. Consuming or creating commentary and marching down the street did nothing last time. Why would it be effective now? Story 30. You've been around since 2014, Bear Fluffy, and you find it odd that the political news dominates the first days of a whirlwind new presidency? You've been here before. This has all happened before. Story 31. His first term, it was the same way for the entire 4 years. I told myself if he ever got back in office, I would just delete Reddit off my phone so I wouldn't have to deal with it again, and I ended up re-downloading it when TikTok got banned for a day. I'll probably end up getting rid of it again here soon, to be honest. Story 32. I'm very tired of it, and I don't mean of him. I mean Reddit making it their identity instead of a place to look at people uncovering lost relatives or a new pet that's cute. No, it's all, oh my God, I don't feel safe in my home of 2 federal workers. It's been like this for what seems like a year now. So much fear-mongering and twisting of the story. You all need to get out and experience the world, and I truly mean that. I'd say 85% of you just scroll all day and think what you read on here is how the world works. Newsflash. It's much more complicated than that. Story 33. He promised to be a dictator with little generals that admired him like Hitler had. From day one, he preached this, but yet you still put him in office. Get used to it. Story 34. Although no bombs were dispatched, a trade war is still as damaging. It's like getting stabbed in the back by your neighbor while you are crouched down fixing his lawnmower. You won't trust him anymore, and he can fix his own lawnmower from that point on. The line has been drawn. The wound will stay open for a long time. One man is to blame. Story 35. I have a mixed reaction. On one hand, it's making me extremely stressed out and scared for the future, to the point it affects my daily life and ability to do things. On the other hand, the lack of reprieve is pushing me to become politically motivated for the first time in my life. I've never called my senator or representative before, but I did so for the first time today. I'm considering attending protests and rallies for the first time. Story 36. There are some catastrophic things going on. I am appreciative of having been kept up to date. If I keep my head in the sand and tune out politics, I'll end up like the majority of the population, confused when prices skyrocket and rights have been lost. Story 37. Democracy dies in the dark, and in Trump's autocracy, it seems. If no one pays attention, the next Great Depression will creep up on you, take all your food and your job like a pickpocket on the subway going after your wallet, or Elon Musk and company going after federal payments information like your Social Security and Medicare data, among others. Musk is openly privatizing critical functions of the government, and Trump facilitated it. If they take the data, delete the backups, they can hold trillions of dollars to ransom, and the right is just okay with that. Remember, Musk is not a special employee of the government. He is a private citizen. He hasn't been confirmed by Congress and hasn't been background checked. He's simply blown enough smoke up Donald Trump's rear end to be given unfettered and unprecedented access to the entirety of the United States government. Trump and Musk now control your Social Security data. If you were to suddenly disappear from the system, how long do you think it will be before you're declared illegal and enjoying an all-expenses-paid trip to the Philippines? Story 38. Some Reddit user made a good point. We are at a turning point. Living through history is hard, folks. It's all Trump, but it isn't really Trump. It's the oligarchy behind Trump. The sinister plans that are being enacted to take away any semblance of security we have. We have to discuss it in excruciating detail. I hate it so much, but all the posts are people seeking to understand and cope with disaster. Maybe we can find the break in the armor, find ways to fight back, or maybe we just support each other and get through this together. Story 39. Man, politics are everywhere. So annoying. It's not only the front page. You can't go to a technology subreddit without someone posting about politics. But you should care. It affects you. Sure, I care. Now tell me, what am I supposed to do? I don't live there, and I'm not even allowed to have a say in America. People online can't solve their own issues and are now dragging others from all over the world to do the job for them. Piss off. Story 40. Reddit is full of bots, and it is also very left-wing. According to them, everything Trump does means the sky is falling. So, the echo chamber comes here to comfort each other. Story 41. I think it more noteworthy that we're in the middle of the great Reddit Nazi panic of 2025. I mean, Reddit has always been bad about that kind of thing, but I've never seen it this bad.